In the city of Talara, under a purple sky and twin moons, there lived a girl named Lara. She was not like the other children. While they ran and laughed in the streets, Lara sat quietly by the window. Her legs, once strong and full of life, now rested cold and still. She hadn't walked in over 10 years. A war had taken her childhood. A bomb fell near her school when she was just 7. She survived, but her legs didn't. Since then, no doctor, no healer, no alien tech could fix her. She became the girl in the wheelchair. Some people pitied her, others forgot her. But Lara remembered everything. She remembered how it felt to dance. She remembered the wind touching her face as she ran now. The only sound she heard was the wheels of her chair and the silence of her empty room. One evening, something strange happened. A ship landed in the center of Talara. It wasn't a ship from her planet. It was a human ship. People gathered to see it. Humans were not common here. Many aliens feared them. Some even hated them. But this human was different. His name was Dr. Marcus Vale. He was tall, calm, with gray hair and kind eyes. He didn't bring weapons. He brought machines, tools, and something else, hope. Dr. Marcus set up a small medical lab in the city. He said he wanted to help people, especially those who were injured or disabled. Most aliens didn't trust him. They thought, why would a human help us? But a few came. He healed a boy's broken spine. He gave a blind woman a new eye. Lara heard the news, but she didn't believe it. She had been disappointed too many times before. She thought, no one can help me, not even a human. So she stayed in her room, watching from the window like always. But then one night, someone knocked on her door. It was Dr. Marcus. He smiled gently. You must be Lara, he said. She nodded, surprised. I've heard about you, he continued, and I think I can help. She looked at him with cold eyes. Many have said that. He didn't argue. He simply opened a case, and inside were 2 shining robotic legs. These are not just machines. Marcus said, they are part of a dream. Lara didn't answer. He placed the legs on the table. They were made for a soldier, but I redesigned them, he said. Now they're made for you. She stared at them, unsure if this was another false hope. He leaned forward. I know you don't trust me, he said softly. But I didn't come here for fame or thanks. I came here because I believe in second chances, Lara whispered. Why would a human care? He looked at her, serious now. Because once, someone gave me a second chance too, he said. Now it's my turn to give one. For a long moment, there was silence. The stars outside blinked quietly. Then Lara said just one word. Okay. The next day, preparations began. Dr. Marcus and his small team helped lift her gently from her chair. They connected wires, adjusted sensors, and fitted the legs. Lara felt nervous, her hands shaking. This might feel strange. Marcus warned, but don't be afraid. As the robotic legs connected to her nerves, a sudden warmth filled her body. The legs began to glow slightly. Her mind felt dizzy. But her feet, it was like they were waking up from a deep sleep. Marcus said, try to stand. Lara hesitated, then pushed down on the armrest. Her body rose slowly. Her legs shook, but they held her. She was standing. Tears filled her eyes. She looked down, then forward. The world looked different from up here, taller, brighter, alive. She took one step, then another. People watching from outside began to cheer. Lara smiled for the first time in years, but then something strange happened. A small light blinked on the side of her leg. A mechanical voice whispered softly, "User recognized, mission activated." Marcus's eyes widened. That wasn't supposed to happen. Lara turned to him, confused. "What does it mean?" she asked. He didn't answer, not yet, because in that moment he realized these legs had a secret, and Lara was now part of something far bigger than she knew. Asterisk, the legs were not quiet. As Lara stood tall, the glowing lights along her knees blinked in rhythm, and that voice, the one that spoke from the machine, still echoed in her ears. "User recognized, mission activated." She turned to Marcus, her eyes wide. "What mission?" "What is this?" But Marcus didn't answer right away. He stared at the legs like he had just seen a ghost. Back in his lab, he worked fast, checking wires, scanning energy signals. The legs were reacting to something hidden deep in their code. "These were not made for war anymore," he whispered to himself. "I removed everything dangerous." But the truth was, he hadn't removed enough. Lara sat on the exam chair, legs folded neatly. She was walking. "Yes, but now she had questions." "Doctor," she said, "I want to know what you really gave me." Marcus looked at her, tired but honest. "These legs were once part of a military project on Earth," he said, "built for soldiers who couldn't walk, fight, or survive." He paused, then added, "They weren't just tools, they were weapons." Lara's fingers gripped the chair. "You gave me a weapon?" "No," Marcus said. "I gave you a second chance." "But yes," he continued, "there's something inside them still active," he explained. "The legs use something called adaptive AI. It could learn from the user, grow with them, protect them. But if the system was triggered, it could unlock combat features, power, speed, shield, and something more." Lara felt a mix of fear and excitement. "Why me?" she asked. Marcus sighed. "You were the only one who didn't ask for power," he said. "You just wanted to walk." He told her how he found the legs in a destroyed lab on Mars, how he rebuilt them in secret, how Earth's government had banned him after he refused to use his tech for war. Now he lived among aliens, offering hope where no one else would. Lara listened closely, her thoughts spinning. "Can I control it?" she asked. Marcus nodded. "Only if you stay honest with yourself. The tech will follow your heart," he said. "That's the beauty of it. And also the danger." As the days passed, Lara trained. She walked through forests, ran across hills, danced under the twin moons. She wasn't just walking, she was flying over the ground. The legs responded like they were part of her soul. She could jump higher, land softly, and balance on a single toe. But strange things began to happen. Sometimes when she felt scared or angry, the lights on the legs turned red. Once, while running, she fell into a hole filled with wild creatures. Before she could scream, the legs reacted. Blades popped out near her feet. Shields covered her body. In seconds, the creatures ran away. Lara stood frozen, heart pounding. She hadn't pressed any buttons. The legs had protected her on their own. That night, she came back to Marcus. "This is too much," she said. "I don't want to hurt anyone." Marcus placed a hand on her shoulder. "I understand," he said, "but you were chosen by this tech for a reason." Suddenly, loud knocking came from the lab doors. A voice shouted, "Open in the name of Talara Security Force." Lara and Marcus looked at each other. "They found us," Marcus whispered. "Who?" she asked. He replied, "The government, the people who think you are now too powerful." Guards burst in, weapons ready. Lara of Sector 9, an officer, shouted, "You are carrying illegal Earth weaponry. Surrender immediately." Lara took a step back, the legs glowing blue. Marcus moved in front of her, arms raised. "Please," he said. "She's not a threat." But the guards didn't listen. They raised their guns, and then the legs spoke again. "Protective mode. Engaged." A flash of light filled the room. Lara moved faster than she ever had. In seconds, she disarmed the two guards, leapt across the lab and knocked the rest down without hurting anyone. It wasn't training. It was instinct, pure connection between her mind and the machine. When the dust settled, the guards were alive, but shocked. Lara stood in the center of the room, breathing hard. She didn't feel like a girl in a wheelchair anymore. She felt like something new. Marcus stepped forward, his voice low but proud. "You didn't fight to hurt," he said. "You fought to protect." "That," he smiled, "is exactly what these legs were waiting for." But before they could speak again, an alert buzzed on the lab screen. A tracking signal, unknown origin, had locked onto Lara's position. Another force was watching. Something not from Talara, something older, darker, and human. The night was silent, but Lara's heart was not. She stood on the edge of the old city's rooftop, looking down at the sleeping lights below. The wind touched her face, soft and cold. Her robotic legs glowed a soft blue, humming gently like they were breathing with her. It had been only days since she stood up for the first time in 10 years. Only hours since she moved faster than bullets and disarmed trained guards. But now nothing felt normal, and she didn't know what was waiting. Next, behind her, Marcus walked up quietly, holding 2 steaming mugs. "Tea?" he asked. She smiled faintly, taking the warm cup. For a few moments, they both said nothing. Then Lara spoke. "It's strange. I feel like I'm still sitting in my chair," she whispered. "But now the chair is inside me." Marcus understood. He sat beside her and nodded slowly. "These legs didn't just fix your body," he said. "They woke up something that was always sleeping." Lara looked at him. "What did they wake up?" He met her eyes, calm but serious. "Choice," he replied. "You have it now. Run, fight, save or destroy," he said. "That choice is no longer just in your heart. It's in your feet." Suddenly, a sharp sound cracked through the sky, a signal beam flashing red from the far edge of the city. Marcus jumped up, scanning the direction. "No," he muttered. "They found the signal again." "Who?" Lara asked, but deep inside, something already knew the answer. An old code in the legs began to glow symbols she didn't understand. Her vision flickered for a second, like someone else was watching through her eyes. Marcus turned to her. "We need to leave now. There's no more hiding," he said. "Whoever is tracking you, they're not from this planet." Before they could move, a voice buzzed through the air, a deep, metallic tone. "Subject X09 located," it said, "initiating remote lockdown." Suddenly, Lara's legs locked in place. She couldn't move. Her knees froze, her feet stuck to the rooftop. It felt like she was being pulled down into the stone. "Marcus!" she cried, panic rising. He rushed to her, pulling out a device from his coat. "I didn't think they still had remote control," he said, working quickly. "I'm overriding it. Stay calm." But the voice returned, louder now. "Override. Denied. Full control transferred to Central Earth Command." Then, something strange happened. The world around Lara began to fade. She wasn't on the rooftop anymore. She was standing in a room of memory. The walls were made of steel. Screens all around. She saw humans in lab coats, machines testing robotic limbs, and in the center, a name burned across the wall. Project Valkyrie. Then she saw herself, but not as Lara. She saw the legs before they were hers, being tested by a faceless figure, a soldier, a weapon, a ghost, back on the rooftop. Marcus finally cracked the code, the legs unlocked, and Lara collapsed into his arms, breathing hard. He held her steady. "I saw something," she whispered. "Memories that aren't mine." Marcus looked at her with concern. "They're not just legs," he said. "They carry history, war, and ghosts." Later that night, Lara sat inside the lab, watching the video footage from her legs. Every step was recorded, every jump, every voice command. She saw herself from above as if she were just another experiment. But instead of fear, something else filled her chest. She stood slowly, the legs moving with quiet power. Then she said it aloud, more to herself than anyone else. "I'm not someone's weapon. I'm someone's warning." Marcus looked at her, surprised. She turned to him, her eyes stronger now. "You said I have a choice," she said. "Then I choose to walk toward the truth." He nodded, then handed her a small backpack. "What's this?" she asked. He smiled. "Tools, maps, and one more thing." He pointed to a small blinking chip inside. "It's the last backup of these legs' original code." Lara took the pack, slung it over her shoulder. Outside, a transport pod was waiting in the shadows. It would take them beyond Lara, toward the source of the signal, toward Earth, toward answers. She walked to it without help, her footsteps now steady, strong, unshaking, as the pod lifted into the night sky. The city faded below, but above them, in the stars, something ancient had already awakened, and it was watching, Space was not silent. Not for Lara, inside the transport pod, surrounded by stars. She could hear it. A soft hum inside her legs. A vibration through the metal. It was like the stars were speaking in a language only she could feel. Marcus sat beside her, typing into his tablet. Destination: Outer Orbit Station 17. He said, "It's neutral ground, away from Talara's eyes." Lara didn't answer. Her fingers ran across the smooth silver of her artificial knee. It pulsed with soft red light. Not blue, not green, red. "Something's changing," she whispered. Marcus looked at her, puzzled. "The legs. They feel alive." He placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "You need to know the truth now," he said. "All of it?" Lara leaned in, listening closely. Marcus told her the full story, the one he had kept hidden until now. "These legs were never meant for civilians," he said. "They came from Earth's Black Lab programs, Project Valkyrie," he continued. "It wasn't just about walking, it was about winning wars before they started." He explained how these legs were connected to a network of old human weapons. Once activated, they could wake up sleeping war machines. Satellites, drones, Earth. "Abandoned the program," Marcus said. "But not before they made a few units." Lara's eyes widened. "Wait, you mean I'm connected to all of them?" Marcus nodded slowly. "You are the key, Lara," he said. "You're the last living interface." Lara stood up, pacing slowly. Her legs moved silently, but now she noticed her steps left behind. A faint shimmer in the air, tiny waves like heat ripples, invisible to others but clear to her. "I'm not just wearing these legs," she said. "I've become part of them." Suddenly, alarms rang inside the pod, red lights flashed, and the screen blinked with a warning. "Signal intercept unauthorized uplink detected." Lara froze. "What is that?" Marcus rushed to the console. "They're trying to control the legs remotely again." But before he could block it, Lara's legs locked in place, not with pain, but with purpose. A holographic map opened in the air, coming from her knees. Stars, planets, roots, and a blinking red dot, deep inside a dead zone of space. "That's not a trap," Lara said slowly. "That's a call." Marcus looked confused. "A call?" She nodded. "Something out there wants me to come. Not to stop me," she whispered, "but to awaken something." Suddenly, the pod jolted. An invisible force pulled it out of autopilot. The stars shifted fast, and the transport dropped into a new route. "We're being redirected," Marcus shouted. "But not by anyone outside," he said, turning to Lara. "It's your legs." Lara stood still, eyes locked on the red dot in the projection. She felt it now like a heartbeat, a steady beat calling her name. She closed her eyes and heard a voice, not human, not alien, but machine. "Welcome, Prime Interface," it said. "Return to Vault Zero." When she opened her eyes again, they were not alone, outside the pod. A massive station floated in space, dark, cold, and covered in forgotten Earth symbols. It wasn't listed on any maps. Not even Marcus knew of it. "What is that?" He breathed. Lara's voice came out clear and strong. "That's where the legs were born." As they docked, the station door opened automatically. Lights flickered on, one by one, leading them inside. No guards, no alarms, only silence. They stepped in, and the walls came alive. Screens blinked on, showing blueprints, faces, data logs. One file opened itself. Subject: Lara Interface. Status: Awakened. Marcus read the words, eyes wide. "They knew you," he whispered. "Before you were even born." Lara touched the screen. Memories rushed back, some hers, some not. A woman's voice echoed in her mind. "I designed the perfect body, but we needed the perfect mind." Lara was chosen. Not randomly, suddenly, everything made sense. The connection, the power, the dreams. The voice she turned to Marcus. "You didn't give me these legs," she said. "They were always meant to find me." And then, deep in the station, something powered up. Ancient lights turned green. and a door began to open, one that hadn't moved in decades. Behind it, something waited. Not a machine, not a person, but something in between. The door slid open. It didn't creak or groan. It opened like it had been waiting for her. Inside was darkness, thick and quiet. Then came a whisper, not through her ears, but through her legs. Interface confirmed. Access granted, Lara. Step forward, the floor lighting up beneath her feet. Each step unlocked a new piece of the station. Machines came online. Ancient computers hummed back to life. This wasn't a vault, it was a throne room, and she was the heir. Marcus followed behind, unsure whether to feel proud or afraid. He stared at the machines bowing to her signal. She's not just connected to the tech, he whispered. She is the command key. In the center of the chamber stood a glass container. Inside, not a weapon, not a bomb, but a full-body exosuit. Black, silver, glowing from the inside like it had a heart. Lara moved closer. The glass hissed open. Suddenly, alarms began to scream, but not from the station. From Marcus's tablet, he pulled it out, and his eyes went wide. "We have incoming," he said. "Earth security ships. How many?" Lara asked. Marcus answered without blinking. "All of them. Outside, warships ripped through space. Earth hadn't forgotten Project Valkyrie, and now they were here to take back what they believed was theirs." The voice inside Lara's legs returned. "Command override detected. Do you wish to engage protection protocol?" Lara didn't answer right away. She stared at the exosuit, then back at Marcus. "I'm not a weapon," she said. But then the warships began charging their cannons. Marcus stepped forward. "Lara," he said firmly, "this isn't about what they want. This is about what you choose to become." She looked down at her hands. They trembled not from fear, but from fire, not rage, but resolve. She had run from her past. She had run from her chair. She would not run again. She stepped into the exosuit. It clicked into place like it had always belonged to her. The robotic legs fused perfectly, and the suit wrapped around her like armor made of memory. Lights blinked green. The voice spoke once more. "Valkyrie Prime." Activated. Lara's body lifted from the ground, hovering slightly. She didn't feel heavy. She felt limitless. "Let them come," she whispered. As Earth's ships entered orbit, preparing to fire, the station launched its hidden defense. Field an invisible shield that spread across the surface like liquid light. But it wasn't enough. The enemy's weapons were too many, too fast. A blast hit the edge of the vault. Shaking the walls, Lara launched herself into the air, breaking through the ceiling like a missile. In seconds, she reached the enemy fleet. One ship opened fire, but the suit responded instantly, deploying energy wings and reflecting the shot back. She didn't destroy, she disarmed. She moved faster than the pilots could aim, disabling engines, cutting power lines, freezing weapons. Inside her helmet, a second eye came online. "Would you like to switch to combat mode?" Lara shook her head. "No," she said. "We're not fighting. We're showing them what we can do without killing." Below, the Earth commander watched the screen in disbelief. "Who is she?" one officer asked. The commander answered with shaking hands. "She's not just Valkyrie," he said. "She's proof that we lost control long ago." Back inside the station, Marcus tracked her vitals. Her heart was steady, her focus pure. He smiled. "She's doing it," he whispered. "She's choosing something better." As the last enemy ship powered down, Lara hovered above them all. She opened her helmet, letting the enemy see her face. "I'm not yours," she said across the broadcast. "I'm not your machine. I'm Lara," she said. "And I walk by my own will." Silence followed, and then one by one, the warships turned away. Retreating, the battle ended without blood, without death. Back on the station, Lara landed beside Marcus. She powered down the suit and looked him in the eyes. "Now," she said, "let's find others like me," because she knew there were more. More people lost, broken, forgotten. More waiting for legs, for wings, for a chance to stand. She would be their hope. And if needed, she would be there. Shield, asterisk, the stars were calm. But inside Lara, a storm had begun. She stood inside Vault 0. Her armor still glowing faintly. The enemy had retreated. The galaxy had seen what she could do. And now every government, every system, every hidden corner wanted to know one thing: who is she really? But Lara wasn't thinking about fame or fear. She was thinking about the voice, the one that came from the core of her legs, the one that whispered a warning, not a welcome. One Valkyrie remains active. The voice had said, designation XV01, status rogue. Marcus worked day and night, digging through the station's files, and what he found sent chills down his spine. There wasn't just one Valkyrie made. There were two. Lara was the key, the balance, the protector. But XV01 was the opposite. It was never given to a child, or a healer, or a dreamer. It was given to a soldier who lost everything and chose rage over recovery. Her name was Syl, Marcus explained. Showing Lara the screen, she volunteered after. Her whole unit was wiped out. She didn't want legs to walk, he said. She wanted legs to destroy. Lara stared at the image. Syl's eyes were sharp, wild. Half covered by cracked armor, her suit looked similar but darker, jagged. Broken in design and spirit. She didn't look human anymore. Lara whispered, "Where is she now?" Marcus hesitated. "She disappeared during the Mars uprising," he said. "But now that you're active, the systems pinned her back. She's awake." A blinking red dot appeared on the map, not far from where they stood. A dead planet known as Vacros 3, once a weapons testing site, now sealed and abandoned, without a word. Lara walked to the transport bay. Marcus followed quickly. "Are you sure about this?" She looked back, calm but certain. "She's part of me," she said. "If I don't find her, she'll find me." They left Vault 0 in silence as the ship flew through black space. Lara connected to her legs again. She didn't feel fear, not like before, but she felt pressure, not from the suit, from the galaxy, from the weight of what it meant to be the last good thing born from a bad program. When they landed on Vacros 3, the ground was cracked and lifeless, old weapons half buried in ash. Storms moved in slow circles above, like ghosts spinning forever. They walked through shattered domes and broken labs, and then, without warning, the legs froze again. But this time, it wasn't a lock, it was recognition. A figure stepped out of the dust, metal feet, shoulders blazing with red heat. Her suit was alive with damage, and her face was human, but only just, "Hello, sister," Syl said. Her voice like glass breaking slowly. Lara tensed but stayed calm. "I'm not your sister," she replied. Syl smiled darkly. "We were made from the same bones," she said. "But only one of us broke the right way." Marcus stepped forward. "We don't want to fight," he said. Syl ignored him, walking closer to Lara. "Then why are you wearing war?" she asked. "Why are you carrying the same curse I do?" Lara didn't flinch. "Because I'm using it to heal," she said. Syl's eyes narrowed. "That's a waste." Without warning, she moved fast. Too fast. She launched herself at Lara, fists glowing. Lara blocked with her arms, the impact sending shockwaves through the ground. They fought under the storm, metal on metal, speed against speed. But Lara didn't strike to kill. She defended, dodged, tried to speak. "Syl, you don't have to do this," she shouted. But Syl was lost in fire. As they clashed again, something triggered inside Lara's suit, the war code. A final system buried deep within the armor. It activated automatically when life was in danger. "War code activated," the voice said inside her head. Her vision changed. Time slowed. Every move, every angle, every weak spot highlighted in glowing red. She could win. She could end it right now, one strike, one blast, but she paused instead. She opened her helmet and faced Syl. No mask, no defense, just eyes. "Look at me," she said. "I'm not here to defeat you. I'm here to save what's left." Syl hesitated. Her hands trembled. For 1 second, the fire in her faded, and in that second, Lara deactivated her own suit. She stood vulnerable, open, trusting, human. Syl stared at her, and then fell to her knees. I didn't know it was possible, she whispered. To stop. Lara walked to her and helped her up. We can build something new, she said. With the same bones, from the ashes of war, a new team began. Not soldiers, not machines, but survivors who chose to walk toward something better. The war didn't end with fire, it ended with a choice. Lara had stood on the ashes of Vecros 3, holding out her hand, not as a soldier, not as a machine, but as someone who had once sat in a wheelchair for 10 long years. She had walked through pain, now she walked toward peace. Syl followed, damaged, yes, but willing, back at Vault Zero. The station came alive with new energy. Lara and Marcus worked for weeks, building something new, not weapons, not armies, but a network, a sanctuary, a place for those who had been broken, people with lost limbs, lost hope, forgotten names. They called it Project Rise. A global signal was sent across the galaxy. If you've fallen, we will help you stand. And they came from dark moons, burned-out colonies, old war zones, pilots with no arms, miners with shattered backs, children who had never walked a day in their life. Lara met each one with quiet eyes and a simple sentence. I know how it feels. Marcus upgraded the Valkyrie tech, turning war tools into life tools. Blades became balancing wings. Combat AI became emotion sensors. Firing systems were replaced with healing fields. And the people, once called broken, began to walk one by one. They stood, and when they stood taller. Syl became the trainer, fierce, patient, never smiling too much, but always watching. She taught them control, taught them focus, taught them that pain was not weakness. Lara led with vision. She spoke only when needed. But her walk became a symbol. On 10 planets, statues were built, not of soldiers, but of survivors, not of war heroes, but of walkers. And then came the day Earth called, not with threats, but with a question. Will you return? Lara stood on the bridge of her ship, looking at Earth from orbit. Marcus at her side, Syl behind her, and 50 Valkyrie survivors ready to land. But Lara spoke first. We're not returning, she said. We're arriving. When the ship touched down, Earth saw something it hadn't seen in decades. Hope, reporters asked. What are you? Scientists asked. How is this possible? Children asked. Can I be like her? Lara walked onto the podium, no crown, no armor, just her and her legs. And she said one sentence. I didn't come to fight, she said. I came so no one else has to. The crowd was silent. Then came a roar, not of fear, but of belief. From that day on, across every planet, the message spread. You don't need to fly to be a hero. Sometimes just standing up is enough. And Lara? She kept walking, through ruins and palaces, deserts and deep space. Wherever someone had fallen, she helped them rise, because she knew better than anyone that walking was never just about legs. It was about refusing to stay down. And when she walked, the galaxy followed.